everybody, welcome back to the vlog. Thank you so much for joining me once again for tea time. Today we have a little bit of fireside. Normally I'm drinking Misty Morning Focus, something like that in the morning for that pick-me-up, but it's getting close to noon, so fireside has that smokiness to it. I love this tea. This is really good, really good. If you haven't picked up any of these teas from me as of yet, you asked me for them, so I made them. For you, go and pick them up over at darkmoonteas.com. Once again, darkmoonteas.com, or you can head over to my website, JCristina.com. Either which way, and you'll be able to grab some. Anyway, so today is going to be an interesting day. We're going to be talking about Canon's R5 as well as R6 that are slated to be released very soon. I'll get into dates in just a minute. Anyways, we want to look at the difference between the R5 and the R6. Where are they similar? Where are they different? We have the current news, let's just say, when it comes to the R5 and the R6. So the latest data is what we're looking for. Rumors, but now we're starting to solidify because the date is literally a month away, or actually less than a month away as far as the announcement of release. So before we get into it, I want to say if you haven't picked up my ebook, 10 Tips in Making Tack Sharp Images, pick it up. You can find it over at my website, JCristina.com/ebook. Once again, JCristina.com/ebook. 10 tips at making really tack sharp images, something great for amateurs as well as professionals. There's something in there for everyone. Pick it up, it's free. Once again, JCristina.com/ebook. So, Canon R5, R6. We're going to go through all of the new information as far as the R6, because a lot of it is solidified now. We're going to go through the spec list, let's call it, and then see where there is the, let's say, disparities between the R5 and the R6. Do you want to go with one or the other? We know the R6 is going to be cheaper than the R5, but we'll get into that in just a second. So starting out at the top, the sensor. The sensor is going to be a 20 megapixel sensor on that R6. Also, it is definitely going to have IBIS, which is in-body image stabilization. A lot of you guys have asked for that for years, and Canon just never gives it, and then finally they're starting to put it into all their cameras. So that's really cool. I'm glad they're doing that. Also, FPS. People want something that could really motor through images. Well, if you're shooting mechanical, you will be able to get 12 FPS, 12 frames per second. If you switch that over to the electronic shutter mode, you're going to get all the way up to 20 frames per second. The thing that's interesting here, guys, is that it is the same with the R5 and the R6. All right. Now, the video that's coming out of this camera supposedly is oversampled 5K video that it's recording. So that's pretty cool. That means that the 4K that you will, let's say, create with that Canon EOS R6 is going to be 4K, but from 5K, just downsampled or oversampled as they call it, so that you get a crisper, a better image. Crisper? Crisp. Something like that, a better image, because you're actually bringing in 5K and then bringing it down to 4K, smashing it together. So that's pretty cool. Also, it's going to record 4K at 60 frames per second. That was like one of the things that a lot of people were talking about. Will it be able to do 4K at 60, or is it just going to be 4K at 30? Because it is the cheaper model, right? It's the baby brother, let's say, to the R5. And it will be doing 4K at 60 frames per second. So that is really good. Also, when it comes to full HD, what we shoot here, this show, is 1080p, right? What will it be able to do? Is it going to be able to capture 60 frames per second? Is it going to do 120, 240? What is it going to do? Well, it's going to max out at 120 frames per second at 1080p. And for me, that is perfect. There's nothing wrong with that at all. I like that a lot. You'll also be able to capture in Canon log. So if you don't know what log does, basically log flattens your image, so then later on in post-production, you can do your color grading and, let's say, rescue a lot of the highs and the lows. It's just a better way of shooting if you can do it and if you know how to do color grading after the fact. So Canon log is available. Also, it's going to be doing 10-bit. So 10-bit video is good. We didn't know if it was going to be 8-bit because we're going all the way up to 4K, or if they're going to be able to bring it in at 10-bit. And yes, this is going to be 10-bit. This camera is also going to have zebraing, so that's always nice. People like using zebras, so it is going to be there. Also, autofocus, autofocus, autofocus. Everyone was thinking that since it's going to be the lesser model of the R5, autofocus is going to suffer. In other words, Canon is going to do like they always do and neuter this thing and take out dual pixel AF when it comes to like 4K. Guess what, guys? They didn't do it. What? Can you believe it? No. Dual pixel AF is actually in this camera. What is going on here, Canon? You're like, are you getting it together? Are you getting it together? I don't know. It might be. It might be. Also, we had the big question of, will this little brother, let's say the R6, have dual card slots like most of us want? Okay, if you're a professional, a lot of professionals will be like, hey, I need dual card slots because I need backup. I need that redundancy. And without redundancy, I cannot shoot this camera. So the answer is yes. The R5, like the R6, will have two SD card slots in it, and that is awesome. And they are both UHS-II card slots. Canon does that, and some other manufacturers do that, where they'll put like a UHS-II and a UHS-I. Why? I don't know, but they do that, and it's stupid. But these are going to be two UHS-IIs. So that is absolutely awesome. Also, the same 5 million dot EVF that's in the R5 is going to be in this R6. That is awesome, because one of the things that we thought was going to happen was that lesser or that dumbed down of an EVF, using a cheaper EVF for the R6 over the R5. It just made sense, but they're actually not going to do it, guys. They're going to have the exact same EVF in this camera. That is awesome. Also, as far as build quality, we were all correct. The build quality, the build materials is going to be lesser than its big brother. So the R6, the build is not going to be as aggressive or as strong as the professional R5. And we could expect that, right? When we see, for example, a DSLR like a 5D, and we compare it to a Rebel, we know that the body itself is a hell of a lot harder, more durable, just a better, more professional body on the Canon 5D in comparison to the Rebel. And the same thing happens with the 1D. The 1Ds, you can literally smash someone over the head, knock them unconscious, and then take their picture and keep going because the thing is made like a brick, all right? It's a beast. So yes, this is going to have a little bit lesser of build materials when it comes to the R6 in comparison to the R5, but that is to be expected. Also, Bluetooth 4.2 will be in the Canon EOS R6 in comparison to 5.0, Bluetooth 5.0 in the R5. So there's a little bit lesser in there. As far as battery, we're going to have the exact same battery in both cameras. The EOS R5 and the EOS R6, it will be that LP-E6NH, yada, yada, yada. The exact same battery. So that is awesome. Now, the announcement on both of these cameras will be July 9th, 2020. So we're literally only a few weeks out now. It's right around the corner, guys. Now, the rumored price on this will be right around $2,500, whereas the R5 will probably be closer to that $4,000, maybe $3,900, somewhere around there. And that simply makes sense, right, guys? That makes sense. But where are we getting some changes here? Let's look at some of the changes. Number one, your CMOS sensor. On the R6, you have that 20 megapixel CMOS sensor that I told you at the beginning, whereas with the R5, you're sitting with a 45 megapixel sensor, guys. That is massive. That's more than double the amount of megapixels with that R5 in comparison to the R6. Also, where things change is with video. You get 8K video in the R5, whereas the R6, you're going to max out at 4K video. Now, that 8K video in the R5 can go all the way up to 30 frames per second, 8K. That is amazing. That is unbelievable, really good. Also with the R5, you're going to see in 4K all the way up to 120 frames per second. So in comparison to 60 frames per second with the R6, with the R5, 120 frames per second at 4K, that is unbelievably great. All right. A lot of people just love shooting slow motion, and to be able to do slow-mo at 120 frames per second in 4K, that's like a dream come true for a lot of people. So as far as the two cameras go, you're seeing some major differences when it comes to video and sensor. And of course, you have the difference in the body itself and frames per second when it comes to recording video. But when it comes to just taking pictures, you're sitting at 12 frames per second mechanical for both of them and 20 frames per second for electronic. Also, what they added into the R6 is the animal detection AF that everyone is just, it's like all the rage, as well as head detection AF, you know, the whole linking in and the portrait and all this stuff. You know, I don't know. Is it, to me, it's kind of like whatever, but they put that in there because we see companies like Sony and whatnot doing that. So Canon needs to step up and make sure they're either competitive with Sony or surpass Sony. All right. Now, years ago, I would say, guys, they need to be competitive or surpass Nikon. And as of late, it's just been like Sony, 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 Sony. And Nikon just coming up from the rears, trying to take Sony on when it comes to these mirrorless cameras. And I think, this is my belief, that that Canon EOS R5, not the R6 that we're talking about in this video, but the R5, that professional camera, is really going to give Sony a run for its money, because this is going to be a badass machine. Now, that's not because I'm a Canon shooter, because you guys know I'm 100% unbiased. I really don't care what you shoot. I have no horse in the race. I don't get paid by anyone, and I'm definitely not a fanboy. I can care less what I shoot. If I'm shooting high-end fashion work, I'm usually shooting Hasselblads. Until recently, I picked up a Fuji. That's for another video. Normally, I'm shooting Hasselblads for magazine work. So I don't really care what I use. It doesn't make a difference to me, but I've been a Canon shooter for the last 15 years, 20 years. And we know the last 5 to 10 years, Canon has fell asleep. They've been asleep behind the wheel. I mean, doing nothing, just lethargic. I think the best camera that they came out with is the 5D Mark II. When I say best, I mean the most innovative, the thing that really just changed the entire industry, okay, was that 5D Mark II when people were shooting 1080p video. It was just unbelievable at the time. Well, Canon fell asleep after that. They really have. And recently I see that the sleeping giant is finally being prodded by Sony. Thank God for Sony, guys. Thank God. It's starting to get these companies to really one-up each other again. And that's the way it should be, because that helps us, guys. That helps us. Innovation, innovation, innovation. If you don't have that competition, you have this lack of innovation. These companies will sit on their laurels and just put out these cameras whenever they want, little tiny iterations. We don't want iterative stuff. We want innovation, right? And that's what we're seeing here. So anyways, guys, I want to know from you. Like I said, that is the July 9th date. Are you excited about it? Do you even care? If you do, are you more excited about the Canon EOS R5 or the R6? We do have a price tag difference here, all right? But for what you're doing, are you looking for that Canon EOS R5 or R6? What makes more sense, all right? Or maybe it's nothing. But in the comment area below this video, let's have that discussion. I want to hear your thoughts. Where you think that it's good? Where do you think it's bad? Which one is good? Which one's bad? Which one is best for you? Let's have that discussion. And after we do here in the comment area below this video, let's take it over to the Discord. I created this community of creatives, community of professionals and amateurs, that we can have these discussions off of YouTube that are fully archivable and searchable. So when you guys put all of this great information in YouTube and it disappears, it's still there, but it's impossible to find, Over on our Discord server, this stuff is there forever, in perpetuity, like I always say. Go over to community.JCristina.com. Once again, community.JCristina.com. It's free. If you want to support the channel, support me, support what we're doing here, you could contribute $5 or whatever in there, but you don't have to. It is free. So go and join up. Once again, community.JCristina.com. So anyways, guys, if you've gotten this much, as I always say, this much out of this vlog, please let me know by throwing a big thumbs up. Those thumbs up really help positioning of these videos and bringing in new subscribers. I've really been trying to build up this subscriber base so when I'm doing these videos, more people can get this information, and hopefully it is helpful. So like I said, if it is helpful, throw it a big thumbs up. That would be awesome. And don't forget to slam that subscribe button so you can get all my videos when they become available, and click the bell icon somewhere around this area so when they are available, you will be notified of it. And finally, head over to my website, JCristina.com, where you can find all the photography tools that I've invented for you and me over the years, and hopefully there's something there that you might like. And if there is, please pick it up and support me and my family. I would really appreciate it. That's it, guys. I'm out of here for yet another vlog. Many blessings to you and your family. We'll see you soon. Take care and stay safe.